Usually, Percy takes trucks down to the harbour, but one day he was ill. Toby had to do the journey instead. He was on his way back with the empty trucks when he was stopped at the airfield station. "Oh dear," fussed Toby, "now we'll be late." The station master came over. "A man from the mainland needs to get to Farquhar, but the road's blocked. His taxi isn't going to be able to take him there as planned. Could you take him in the brake van, please?" "Oh, of course," Toby smiled. His guard and driver agreed. Presently, Harold the helicopter buzzed over Ed and landed nearby. A short, well-dressed man stepped down and was greeted by the airfield manager. "That fellow's a businessman," Harold explained to Toby. "He's come here to do some bird spotting, apparently." "Bird spotting?" Toby asked. Toby didn't like running late, but he did want to find out more about bird spotting, and this was exactly the chance he needed. "Right this way, sir."
"Ah, thank you. I say, it's a bit of a tight squeeze in here, don't you think?" Ugh.
Before long, Toby had reached the top station. As the little man got out, Toby took the opportunity to talk to him. "Excuse me, sir, but what exactly are you looking for?" The little man clasped his hands together.
"Ah, well, you see, my dear Engine, I've come to spot a rare bird which has appeared in these parts. As an ornithologist,
What's the name of the bird, sir?"
But it's known as the Ellsbridge woodlark. I hear that many people are looking for it. Here, this is what it looks like."
And the man showed Toby a picture from his book. "Well, I might see it if I keep my eyes peeled," Toby chuckled. He was growing fond of the man. He was quite enthusiastic. For the next few days, Toby and his driver spent their trips along the quarry line scanning the skies for signs of the rare bird. More often than not, however, they saw the little man hiding in bushes or ditches. "Hello!" Toby would call. The hedge would rustle, and a red face would pop out.
"Oh, blast! You've scared it off!"
Toby thought it most peculiar. He wanted to help, but he didn't know how. A few days later, Toby found himself waiting at the airfield station again. "Harold," Toby asked, "well, next time you're out flying, could you look for the Ellsbridge woodlark?"
"The what?"
"The Ellsbridge woodlark. It's a rare bird, and I'm going to try and find it for that bird spotter."
"Ah, is it? Yes. I'll have a look for this Ellsbridge
Woodlark.
Ellsbridge woodlark. Next time I go flying, then. Doodle pip."
But the weeks wore on, the weather grew worse, and Toby didn't see the woodlark at all. Neither did the bird spotters who came to the river. They often saw Harold on patrol, but he had no luck either.
Quite a rum do, what?
The little man said how upset he was to Toby and Thomas at the top station.
"With all this rain, I'll never see the woodlark."
"And so what?" Thomas huffed. "There's plenty of birds about at this time of year." "Not like this one, Thomas," Toby chuckled. "I've seen a picture of it. It's very rare."
"And now it's gone!"
the man exclaimed. Thomas and Toby looked at each other in wonder. After all, it was only a bird. "What a bird brain," Thomas said that night. "Fancy coming all this way just to see a little bird." "Who are we to judge?" Toby scolded. "What makes him any different from those railway enthusiasts?" Thomas harumphed and shut his eyes to go to sleep. Toby shut his eyes too. When? Toby's eyes shot open. Thomas opened one of his sleepily. "Some of us are trying to sleep, Toby. Stop snoring, please." "Well, that wasn't me," Toby replied. "It sounded just like a bird." "It can't be, Toby. Birds live in trees. You're like that man, just obsessed with that silly..."
"I definitely heard that,"
put in Percy.
"But where's it coming from?"
Toby could hardly contain his excitement. There! He cried. Up there! It's the woodlark. It's made a nest in the rafters.
Well, blow me down, said Toby's driver next morning. No one would have known she was there, if you hadn't spotted her, that is.
I don't think they would have, driver. Who knew that we'd be the ones to find the woodlark? Certainly not Thomas here, smirked Toby. It looks like he was mistaken. Thomas stayed quiet. The engine crews didn't want to move the birds, they were so comfortable. They did have a habit, however, of twittering impetuously and occasionally dive-bombing the engines. Thomas didn't like that, but even he couldn't be crossed when the woodlark laid her chicks. The crews named them after the engines. Toby thought it had been a hoot. Thomas thought that everyone had gotten into a bit of a flap over nothing.